Hello, everyone. This is your host, Dr. Almas Taj Awan, with another episode of Innovation from Global South on Feature Frame TV, the collective podcast on Traces.Dreams. Today, we have with us Dr. Iffat Zafar Aga. She's the CEO and co-founder of Sehat Kahani, a telemedicine startup based in Pakistan. So, Dr. Iffat Zafar Aga, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you? So excited to be here.
Well, thank you for accepting the invitation.
No, thank you. I
So,
think meeting after 6 years.
yeah, it's a quite long time. So, tell us something about your journey. What is Sehat Kahani? How it started?
I think the last when we met, I think years ago in Kenya. So we were working, me and my co-founder, Dr. Sara, along with another partner at that time, and we were working on an idea of how we can solve two problems in Pakistan. So one problem, which is very much prominent, as we all know, is that a lot of women get educated, but then they don't work in the formal economy. And if you talk about doctors, that number is threefold. So almost every family wants to make their daughters doctors, but when it comes into them going into the practical work, a lot of them drop out. If I talk about the numbers, so around 60% of the total doctor force is females, but only 23% of them are even registered. So, let alone the ones who are working. So 23%, such a small number. So this was a problem that was very close to me as well as my co-founder, because both in our journeys somewhere we had to kind of juggle and struggle, and a point came in our lives where we had to choose between either having a career or having a family. And I think this is something which happens with every doctor. And after studying so long, you really want to be able to practice in one way or another. So we were working on this interesting idea that how female doctors can actually work within the boundaries of their household, utilizing a technology medium the way we are speaking right now. And since this is such a long time, at that time, while telemedicine did exist in, for example, US, UK, it was quite alien in Pakistan. So we started off, we tested in a couple of communities, and then it worked out, alhamdulillah, really well. And then spun out Sehat Kahani with me and Dr. Sara. And we work not only on bringing in female doctors back into the workforce, but we also enable people to access healthcare using technology. And I think we started off by creating telemedicine based clinics in low income communities where the focus was that people can walk in to an existing space which is kind of run by a nurse intermediary. Because, when we talk about very low income communities, these are people who probably don't have a smartphone. And since they don't appreciate technology to that extent, for them accessing a doctor just directly would be difficult in gauging their trust. So that intermediary would really help. So for example, you and I are talking, so a patient and a doctor would be interacting, but a nurse would be facilitating and examining them, in printing out the prescription, and kind of being the bridge between the doctor. So we started off by doing that. Alhamdulillah, today we are present in 4 provinces out of the entire Pakistani landscape, and we have 35 e-health clinics. And in 2019, I think we are one of those people who want to keep on doing things differently and want to keep on innovating. So in 2019, we also realized that, healthcare isn't just the problem for the low income, bracket. It's a problem very much for people like you and me. Especially if you talk about Pakistan, traffic is a big issue. Going to a hospital or a healthcare facility means you're taking an entire day off from your work. So we thought, why not work on a mobile application which allows anyone to be able to access a doctor no matter where they are. And I think we were so young in our journey at that time. We were like, oh my God, a mobile app, not a big deal. It's just going to take 3 months and we are just going to make it. It took us around 18 months to get the first product out. And then by the end of 2019 or early 2020, even then the usage was very slow. We hardly had 6,000 or 7,000 downloads. Only 4 or 5 corporates were working with us. But I think COVID facilitated us in a way that the recognition of telemedicine in Pakistan grew. So, for example, if someone would take another 3 years to come to a digital medium, I think that journey has really accelerated. So, Alhamdulillah, today here we are working with 53 independent corporates. We are in the retail market as one of the leading telemedicine organizations. For the very first time, an insurance provider as big as Jubilee has partnered with a telemedicine or a startup organization like ours, which will lead to giving access to around 700 plus corporate organizations. So, yeah, it has been an exciting journey, crazy but exciting journey.
It's quite interesting that you have a background from medicine. So what I see that you right now are juggling with different players in the market. Isn't it difficult? Like you, someone, from the background of medicine and now working on developing a new app. How is that journey of knowing new people and, getting them to the team?
I think it is different. Of course, medicine, as a doctor, we both are completely non-technical folks. We don't know anything about tech. And I think we have been lucky that we have gotten good tech partners. So what we do is that we always have like a wish list that, oh my God, this is what we want, like very layman wish list. And we take it to them and somehow they have been able to accommodate it. But I think more challenging has been the factor that we are also females. So when a woman is doing a social work in Pakistan, it's very acceptable. Oh, she's doing something nice. She's doing something good for the society. But as soon as a woman starts doing a sustainable business or an impact business, then people start turning their eyes. Oh my God, women, they'll do business. Oh, they're coming into tech. What will they? They don't know anything about tech. I think that has been a bit challenging, but I think that has been fun also.
So there's a great journey of tackling with all those stereotypes. It's so wonderful. If I have a question about that mindset that took you for having medical studies, your dream was to attend patients yourself, be in a clinic, and how was that journey of change? I mean, why telemedicine? Why
Yeah,
business?
I think as a doctor, um, I realized very early on, even before venturing into Sehat Kahani, that being a doctor means one patient at a time. And I always had this thing, how can the impact be bigger? How can you reach out to more or larger number of patients? And even before coming into this segment, I had ventured into the corporate sector where I was working in the pharma sector for quite some time. And from there, I just realized that the advantage of, for example, working as a corporate or working as an organization at this scale is that you're able to touch a large number of patients at one given time. And not only that, you're also able to work for different multiple healthcare causes. So the patient flow that comes to Sehat Kahani includes maternal issues, it includes a lot of children, but it also includes a lot of mental health. And I have actually been very personally invested in creating avenues for enhancing mental health care access. So I think that is something that really inspires me or keeps me up at night, that okay, a patient came who got a consult on our mobile application and we were actually able to save a life, or do a referral of a patient in time. We were actually able to like, save that patient or pull someone out of depression or anxiety. I think that's a really good feeling.
I also feel that telemedicine is very important when you talk about South Asian culture, and especially women, because many women around us, they are very shy, of discussing their health issues linked to maternity or family planning, reproductive health, and also about mental health issues as well. Do you have any statistics about, I mean, how your platform is providing that different opportunity that those local clinics they cannot?
Yeah, so for example, the communities where we reach out to are communities where there's no female doctor. A lot of those women that come to our clinic have actually never been to a proper hospital. A lot of them have had home births. We started doing this mental health project around 3 years ago, and we thought that the first year will entail just only making them aware. And we just realized that there are so many mental health care issues. Not only awareness was something which was needed, but they needed immediate access also. So we had to like start interventions very quickly, because these were women who were completely deprived. And interestingly, it's not only about just being shy, it's also about not being permitted, very honestly. So, for example, even in the mobile application, we actually get a lot of patients where the email address is of a man. So it's her husband's account or it's her husband's email address. And that's where she does the consultation. So I think women not having access to smartphones, not having access to financial independence are all of these challenges because of which their healthcare, is so deteriorated over a long, long time.
I asked you about entrepreneurship because when I when I try to find female entrepreneurs from Pakistan, it always comes, you are one of the top ones. And your journey has been very inspiring for me because I am following you from last 6 7 years and you're very much persistent. So tell us something about the challenges that you face in this journey.
Oh, I think the challenges that women face are just immense. Because first of all, it's not an equal playing ground. Because being a woman, especially when you are from Pakistan, there are so many things that come as an added baggage. So you have to make sure your children are, you know, if you're married, for example, your children are studying properly, they're being fed, the house is well kept, all of that. You have to make sure that is up to date while you work. So that's not a playing field. Also, for example, in my experience, men get the opportunity to have, after work coffee chats or, all the investor conversations or all those, business strengthening conversations happen after 5 when you're like meeting people for dinner. But a woman has to like rush home at 5. But I think what has been really complimenting in my journey has been the fact that we are two women. We're almost of the same age, and we both are married. We both have children. So I think a lot of times I could back on her, and she could back on me. And I just feel that if we either of us was a single founder, it would have been a crazy journey, and probably it wouldn't have been possible. So having that female co-founder who could actually support you as a part of your journey and be there for you. So, for example, our elder daughters are of the same age. So, many times when we have to arrange a play date, we are like, okay, let me just drop my daughter to your house. So, the children are having fun, and you're also mentally relaxed that, okay, the child is going somewhere. So, these are a couple of challenges. Also, I feel that not a lot of women get the kind of support that, alhamdulillah, probably I have been able to from their family. So sometimes the husbands are not supportive, or the in-laws are not supportive, or there are people who are constantly telling you that, okay, you need to prioritize one thing or the other. And I think the third biggest challenge that I think we have definitely faced in our journey is when you're raising investment or when you are creating partnerships. Men mostly, it's like a male dominated conversation. You enter into a meeting and it's like all men and just one or two women. So I think that has been challenging, but at the same time, probably I feel we have really modified ourselves to come out of that gender stereotyping, or come out of that mindset, and meet people as individuals and not as a male or a female. I think with time people start respecting you, that okay, they are really serious about their work, and this is something that they are going to do. Yeah. No, I was just ending that. I think it takes a lot of passion and persistence, but then ultimately you are able to
How this mindset is going to change? What do you say? Because you have been traveling all over the world and then you come back to your own country where you see I mean you have experience of traveling to in those countries where these stereotypes they don't exist, and then you're working in a country where there are so many taboos, women working in the tech industry and being a successful entrepreneur. So how do you see how it can be changed in future?
So I think there are many ways, but for example, the first thing is it has to start from your own home. So whether you're married, you have to start convincing your spouse, and taking him or her out of that respective mindset. Then when you have children, you have to. So for example, I have daughters, so I really want to make them absolutely empowered. If I had sons, I would have made them very inclusive. I would have taught them that you have to be inclusive of you know your sisters or other girls in the family. But this is how I feel. The mothers really need to change the upbringing of their children. The second thing, which is very important, which has started to happen, is the entrepreneurial ecosystem needs to be more women friendly. So, for example, a lot of accelerators have started to come forward. Some of them have started to open up daycare facilities as well. So, we just feel that since women have a lot of responsibilities, even people need to be appreciative of those and be accommodating of those. So women would very readily work if you have a daycare facility. So when we made our office, the first thing we thought of was that we need a daycare in our office, so that not only we can bring our children, but other women can also. And because of that, we were actually able to engage a lot of women talent. The second thing is that, for example, in the leading boards of organizations, I think they need to start having mandates. At least one or two female representation needs to be there. And a lot of companies are now coming forward because of, I would say, the global impact and kind of the global pressure. So, for example, all the FMCGs, all the multinationals are now trying to strive and move forward towards the fact that we need more female representation in the senior executive boards. So these are the two things. And the third thing is we need a lot of women mentors. So I think people like you, mashallah, who are from Pakistan, who have alhamdulillah done so well in the international diaspora as well. A- and a lot of other women as well. I think they also need to perhaps get in touch with agencies, societies, or accelerators who are, for example, doing a lot of mentorship for women. So I think at times when I interact with women, it's their own internal barriers that they are unable to cross. So I think while the society won't be really supportive, or maybe the society will take another 5 years to be as supportive as some other country perhaps, but at times women are unable to overcome their own internal barrier, which becomes really important. That okay, you need to believe in yourself, take that first step, or that first job, or first day at work, kind of thing. So I think a lot of mentorship or motivation really makes a difference.
I can see you have faced so many challenges, and you just said that many women around us, they have those internal barriers, and especially when they have family, they have that internal guilt, that maybe, I mean, if they are going to choose a very high time demanding profession, so they might be ignoring their family. Tell me about you yourself, how you tackle with those internal feelings or barriers that you said, because everyone has that. So
Yeah.
what is that one thing that keep you going? And you're not, I mean, I never saw you, you're always doing something.
I think it's all about there are good days and there are bad days. So there are days when as a mother you just feel awful that oh my god, I need to be there more with my children. And then there are those other days where you know I think you're guilty about your work, and you just feel that oh my god, I have been involved more at home, and I'm not um, at work as much as I should have been. So there are good days, there are bad days, but I think over time what I have learned is that, and especially after COVID, what the entire world has perhaps learned is that work doesn't have to be 9 to 5. The work can be flexible or can be worked around your life routine also.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think COVID has also made a lot of organizations understand this, that not every employee has to be in the office 9 to 5, because a lot of them are in office 9 to 5, but they're not working. So how about, not bound them by time, but bound them by KPIs, and, make sure that people can actually work around that. I think that has been helpful. So for example, with me, I have a policy that at 5, I have to come home and I have to detach and I have to be with my children. Or for example, weekends are days where I really have to detach from work and be there with my children. Or for example, if it's their homework, that I have to make sure that they are doing their homework and I'm there facilitating them, so that even I don't feel guilty. But then when it's work time, then I really like to detach from my home and my children and just be in office and be at work. I think they also need to learn how to detach or create those spaces in your mind, that okay, this is office time, this is home time, kind of phenomena.
Have the work-life balance. Excellent.
Yes.
Ifat, you just said about support that you got from your family, from your friends. But in technical terms, who funded you or who trained you for this in the whole journey?
So I think we have been really lucky, and we have gotten, you know, substantial exposure by a lot of, global platforms and mentors. I got the opportunity to travel to GIST, and that was a very exciting forum. I pitched for the first time on stage, and they trained us how to speak and how to do all of that. So that was my first experience. Then I think a lot of national accelerators, for example, Invest2 Innovate was another accelerator. Then there's this accelerator which is called SPRING Accelerator. So we were a part of that, and they help you design human-centered design techniques, and they kind of train you also. So I think these were a couple of those things. My partner got the chance to become an Acumen Fellow. I got the chance to do Global Good Fund Fellowship. So all of these fellowships all also added to it. Then we raised our seed funding in 2018, which was around $500,000. It was a consortium of two local angel investors in terms of equity, as well as a matching fund by GSMA. So GSMA also invests in startups which are associated with mobile applications or mobile technology. So and it was the first time that GSM invested in any company in Pakistan, especially female-led. So that was a really exciting moment. And I remember when we were filling this application, a lot of people were discouraging us. Oh, people don't get it. Why are you wasting such time? And even we were so young at that time. We were like, okay, let's just see. But we got it. So Alhamdulillah, we were really lucky there. Then this year we raised our pre-series A round of $1 million US. Again, a consortium of investors, but the primary investor was Islamic Development Bank, which is based in Saudi Arabia. Then two Singapore-based funds, and then a couple of angel investors. Yeah, and you can hear my daughter in the background.
Life of a working mom during COVID.
Yes.
So, Iffat, what do you dream about future?
So I think for Sehat Kahani, we really want to, and we always envision that it becomes not only a household name in Pakistan, but also becomes a global success, especially a South Asian success, a startup coming out of Pakistan, which really becomes a success. Because I think we really need it. We hear of a lot of successful, companies who have spun out of India, out of Bangladesh, out of Sri Lanka, but we really need a success story from Pakistan, I believe. So the bigger dream is this. But if I talk about the next 5 to 10 years, we want to bring back at least 50,000 doctors back into the workforce. We want to be able to impact at least 25 million lives. And we want to venture into at least 2 or 3 countries with similar healthcare issues. South, definitely more, because those are countries where healthcare access is still a challenge. Digitization is, a hope that can really change how healthcare is being delivered in those countries. So, for example, a lot of African countries, we're also looking at. So of course, Africa comes a bit later, but for example, South Asian countries like Nepal, like Bangladesh, to start off with, because they have kind of similar demographics, similar issues, similar culture also. So that patriarchal culture is pretty much predominant. They're also not as strong as the way we have in Pakistan, but it is there. I feel that they are progressing much better than us. So it seems like a natural fit or the next right step to take. And then ultimately into countries in Africa also, for example, or Malaysia or Indonesia, where digitization could really change the healthcare dynamics. But I do feel for the next 18 months, especially after this investment round, we really want to grab as much market as we can within Pakistan. So the next 18 months, we really want to make the most of the Pakistani market, get as many corporates as we can, get as many retail consumers as we can, and then plan, how we can scale forward.
What do you think? What the world needs the most?
I think, especially in this time, health has been really neglected. And I think with COVID, the major realization that the world overall has had is healthcare has been neglected, mental health has been neglected. I think the entire world has been, in a crazy race. And suddenly COVID has kind of made all of us realize to like stop, look back, reflect within ourselves. And a lot of us have been suffering from healthcare issues, but since we weren't slowing down, we weren't even realizing. So I think healthcare issue is one thing, mental health access is one thing. Overall, I think, if I don't talk about health, I think we need to be more kind, to be more passionate. I think that's something also that we're really missing from this world, and I think that's something that's really needed.
If one last message that would like to share with your audience, it can be anything. It can You can give just a tip, because you're very successful in pitching your idea, your startup. So there are many entrepreneurs listening to you. So what would you like to say to them?
So I think the message that I'd like to give, and especially for females, is that they really need to believe in themselves. They really need to, have the confidence in themselves. And not everyone's perfect. Trust me, I'm not this person at home. Or this is not how I started off my journey. I was pretty much an introvert. I would struggle on stage. I didn't know how to pitch. And I've learned all this in my journey. And trust me, even today, when I go onto the stage, or if I have to pitch, or if I have to have an interview, it does make me nervous. It might not seem that way, but it does. And that's natural, and that's a part of who we are as people. But it's very important as a woman to believe in yourself, believe in your qualities, and just if there's an idea that you really want to work on, have a team, have a a partner, preferably a female who can be there with you in your journey. The way I had, I think one winning factor was that we were two women with the same passion, with the same life scenarios, and we were actually able to do it. So find one person who can share your passion and your journey and your crazy thoughts, and just do it, because it's just one life that we all have. And I think it does seem really fancy that, oh, I sacrifice this for my family and for my children, but all of that, but it's just one life that we all get. So make the most of that life for yourself also. I think I really believe in that. So yeah, that's about it.
Thank you very much, Iffat. It was really great having you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for doing this. Always excited to meet you. And, mashallah, you are doing amazing yourself, making Pakistan proud on the globe, mashallah.
Oh,
So,
thank
so
you.
very excited about you as well, always.
So, dear audience, I hope that you are liking the show. Till next episode of Innovation from Global South. This is your host, Dr. Almas Taj Awan, signing off. Take care. Goodbye.